The world watched with bated breath on April 22, 2025, as news broke of a potential turning point in the grueling Ukraine conflict. The air was thick with anticipation and uncertainty. Russian President Vladimir Putin, in a meeting shrouded in secrecy, had put forth a proposal to freeze the conflict. This unexpected move caught many off guard. The proposal, as reported by sources close to the Kremlin, outlined a simple yet daunting proposition: a ceasefire along the current front lines, effectively solidifying Russia's control over the territories it currently occupies. This was a bold and controversial suggestion. This would leave approximately 20% of Ukraine, including swaths of the Donbas, Zaporizhia, Kherson regions, and the Crimean Peninsula, under Moscow's dominion. The implications of this were vast and complex. The proposal, while offering a respite from the relentless bloodshed, was immediately met with a flurry of reactions, ranging from cautious optimism to outright condemnation. The world was divided in its response. For some, it represented a pragmatic path towards ending the violence and preventing further loss of life. The humanitarian perspective was a significant factor in the debate. Others viewed it as a thinly veiled attempt by Putin to formalize his territorial gains and secure a strategic victory in the face of mounting international pressure. The skepticism was palpable. The proposed freeze, however, came with a significant caveat. It fell short of recognizing the annexed territories as part of Russia formally. This left a critical ambiguity. This ambiguity, while seemingly a minor detail, held profound implications for the future of Ukraine and the broader geopolitical landscape. It was a detail that could not be overlooked. It raised questions about the legitimacy of the occupied territories, the potential for future conflict, and the willingness of Ukraine and its allies to accept such a settlement. The international community was on edge. The proposal, therefore, was not just about ending the current phase of the conflict, but about shaping the contours of the future. It was a moment of reckoning. It was a high-stakes gamble by Putin, a move that could either pave the way for a fragile peace or entrench the divisions and sow the seeds for future confrontations. The world watched, waiting to see what would unfold next. The details surrounding Putin's proposal revealed a curious choice of interlocutor. Rather than engaging in direct negotiations with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky or high-ranking officials from Western powers, Putin chose to relay his message through Steve Witkoff, an American real estate tycoon with close ties to former U.S. President Donald Trump. This unconventional diplomatic maneuver raised eyebrows and fueled speculation about the nature of the back-channel discussions and the potential role of Trump himself. Witkoff, a longtime friend of Trump and a figure with no prior diplomatic experience, had previously expressed controversial views on the Ukraine conflict. In a televised interview earlier that year, he had suggested that the 4 annexed regions should be ceded to Russia, citing their predominantly Russian-speaking populations and the controversial referendums held under Russian auspices. His comments were met with significant backlash from both Ukrainian officials and international observers. His involvement in this sensitive diplomatic mission, therefore, raised concerns about his ability to represent U.S. interests objectively and the potential for miscalculations or misinterpretations. The decision to engage Witkoff, however, could also be seen as a calculated move by Putin to exploit the existing divisions within the United States and the wider international community. By choosing a figure with known connections to Trump, Putin might have been aiming to leverage these relationships to his advantage. By circumventing official diplomatic channels and engaging with a figure known to hold favorable views towards Russia, Putin might have sought to undermine the unified front presented by the U.S. and its allies, and potentially drive a wedge between them. This strategy could have far-reaching implications for international diplomacy and the ongoing conflict. This unorthodox diplomatic maneuver, however, underscored the complexities of the conflict and the challenges of finding a negotiated settlement. The involvement of unofficial envoys in such high-stakes negotiations adds layers of unpredictability and risk. It also highlighted the role of personal relationships, informal networks, and back-channel diplomacy in international relations, particularly in times of heightened tensions and mistrust. These unofficial channels can sometimes achieve breakthroughs where formal diplomacy fails, but they also carry significant risks and uncertainties. The specter of Donald Trump loomed large over the unfolding events, his shadow casting doubt and uncertainty on America's stance on the conflict. The former president's influence, though no longer direct, still reverberated through the corridors of power in Washington. Trump, known for his unconventional foreign policy approaches and his seemingly amicable relationship with Putin during his presidency, had remained relatively silent on the Ukraine conflict since his return to private life. Yet, his past actions and statements continued to influence the narrative. However, his close ties to Witkoff and his past pronouncements on Ukraine fueled speculation about his potential role in shaping the current discussions. These connections hinted at a possible behind-the-scenes influence that could not be ignored. Trump's previous statements on Ukraine, often characterized by ambiguity and a seeming disregard for the country's sovereignty, had raised concerns among U.S. allies and drawn criticism from within his own party. His unpredictable nature made it difficult for allies to gauge America's true stance. His infamous quid pro quo phone call with Zelensky in 2019, which ultimately led to his first impeachment, had exposed his willingness to leverage U.S. foreign policy for personal political gain. This incident had left a lasting mark on the perception of American diplomacy. The potential for Trump to re-emerge as a player in the Ukraine conflict, either directly or through proxies like Witkoff, injected a new layer of complexity into an already volatile situation. It added an unpredictable element to an already tense geopolitical landscape. It raised questions about the consistency and reliability of U.S. foreign policy, and the potential for renewed tensions with European allies who had grown wary of Trump's unpredictable nature. The transatlantic relationship, already strained, faced new uncertainties. The involvement of Trump-affiliated figures like Witkoff highlighted the deep divisions within American society, and the challenges of maintaining a coherent and effective foreign policy in an increasingly polarized political environment. These internal conflicts mirrored the external challenges faced by the nation. It also underscored the lingering impact of Trump's presidency on global affairs and the uncertainties surrounding America's role in the world. The legacy of his administration continued to shape the international order in unexpected ways. In the heart of the storm, it was Ukraine itself that remained the most resolute voice. President Zelensky, hailed as a wartime leader of unwavering courage and determination, wasted no time in making his stance unequivocally clear. Ukraine would not accept any peace deal that compromised its territorial integrity. This unwavering commitment to reclaiming all lost territory, including Crimea, resonated deeply with the Ukrainian people, who had endured immense suffering and displayed extraordinary resilience in the face of Russian aggression. Zelensky's stance was not merely about land or borders, it was about principle. It was about defending Ukraine's right to exist as a sovereign and independent nation, free from external coercion or intimidation. It was about rejecting the notion that might makes right and refusing to reward aggression with concessions. This unwavering stance, however, presented a significant challenge to any prospects for a negotiated settlement. It meant that Ukraine was unwilling to compromise on what it considered to be its core interests, even if it meant prolonging the conflict and incurring further losses. Ukraine's defiance, however, was not born out of mere stubbornness, but from a deep-seated belief in the justness of its cause and the unwavering support of its people. It was a powerful reminder that true peace could not be achieved through coercion or appeasement, but only through a just and lasting settlement that respected the rights and aspirations of all parties involved. In the wake of recent events, leaders from around the world have voiced their concerns. Some have called for immediate action, while others urge for a more measured approach. The international community is, well, clearly divided, but one thing is certain: everyone is watching closely. As the situation evolves, global reactions will undoubtedly play a crucial role in shaping what comes next. In a surprising turn of events, the highly anticipated summit has been downgraded, raising concerns among global leaders. The decision, shrouded in mystery, has left many questioning the future of international diplomacy. Tensions continue to simmer as nations grapple with the implications of this unexpected move. An explosion has rocked the heartland of Russia, sending shockwaves through the nation. The cause of the blast remains unknown, but the impact is undeniable. Authorities are on high alert, and the world watches closely as the situation unfolds. Relations between the United States and Europe are under significant strain. Disagreements on key policies and strategies have created a rift that seems to be widening. Both sides are working to find common ground, but the path forward is fraught with challenges. The future of Ukraine is shrouded in uncertainty. Political instability and external pressures are taking a toll on the nation. As the world looks on, the resilience of the Ukrainian people is put to the test, and the outcome remains uncertain.